Yes, this is not a clickbait. This is something that actually happened. And I'm about to tell you about the time this past summer that I pissed off Dean Spanos. So much so that it might have affected him considering the current situation. So, everyone nowadays knows the widely publicized story of Spanos fucking the city of San Diego over in order to increase his market value and sort of nudge his way into Kroenke's shiny new stadium in Inglewood, coming this next year actually. In fact, I was actually at the forefront of this because I went to the very first joint practice they did in 2017 with the Rams, actually. And the anti-Spanos sentiment was pretty evident there. I mean, there was fans who were screaming at him. In fact, he only stayed out for the first couple of plays before he retreated back to his trailer because there was a lot of pissed off San Diegans. If you see in the footage, there was a lot of pissed off San Diegans. But more so to the point, after about 2 years, they finally came to an agreement to do this again this past summer. And so pretty much he decided he's just going to hang out in the owner's box with Kroenke and pretty much what other celebrities would end up showing up. And so he actually got the balls to come out of the players' tunnel with Phillip Rivers and Gus Bradley and Anthony Lynn. However, while Anthony Lynn and Gus Bradley, pretty much no one cared, because no one had anything against them, Spanos tried to be as subtle as possible until he saw my sign and until I pointed him out. And so pretty much the problem is I didn't actually get a picture of the back of my sign, but the back of my sign had Urinatingtree's logo I printed out and then glued to it, and then it just said "Fuck you, Spanos" on it. And the front of it said "Spanos, pay your rent." In fact, I'll show you a picture of it. So this encounter I mentioned on Fives and Trees live stream called The Dumpster Fire. I'll leave a link for that in the description. You should check it out. It's every Tuesday, and it's a lot of fun. Anyway, one of the points. So I'd mentioned that because Tree initially thought that my sign would get confiscated that I'd mentioned during his trade deadline live stream. This was not the case, although I did piss a few people off on the Chargers side. But anyway, this is Spanos' initial response. So he looks at me, and I make eye contact with him from about 10 feet away until he gives me this sort of angry snark, this sort of like, "Fuck you" look. And then he actually walks backwards, turns around, goes backwards through the tunnel, and doesn't come out for another 30 minutes until we spotted him over in the owner's booth, actually, with Kroenke. Now, he looked pretty pissed off. And considering his current situation, which I will highlight in a minute, He really did not want any interaction with the fans, because I even joined the Inland Empire Diehards. I'll also leave a link for their website. We started a chant, actually, when they started doing the quarterback plays. We started chanting, "Pay your rent! Pay your rent!" And that seemed to piss him off even further, because he just looked more and more uninterested. Pretty tired of the chant, and literally, he was beyond. I could tell he was pretty pissed off. He had a big sort of entourage of his bodyguards and his family, and they all made a quite public exit and just ran to his bus and just left. He was not very liked in the second time around. But anyway, I should highlight one of the reasons this is so ironic. Right now, the Rams organization are kind of mad at him because they claim that he's actually been paying about 40% less for the down payment and the security deposit to pay rent to the Rams to actually use the new stadium in Inglewood. And this has angered a lot of people. Well, strangely enough, it sort of made people laugh at the irony of my sign, because I couldn't have predicted that. Anyway, I'll also point out, his cheapness isn't subtle. It's pretty self-evident, I have to say. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'm giving you a good story of how I pissed off Dean Spanos to the point that he won't actually pay his rent. I couldn't have even predicted how great the irony would get. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys, and I hope you got some enjoyment of that. Anyway, we all know what's coming. I just have to say it.
Fuck you, Spanos!